Welcome into View from the West podcast, the semifinal edition. Here we are. Next stop, Normal. It is official now. The teams are punching their tickets all night long. I think everybody, except maybe one game, has gone final. We're at least waiting to find a final score. But for the teams we cover in the lower classes now this time of year, we've got all the finals. The stage is officially set. What a game today in Stockton. Lena Winslow is going back to the state championship game. Kyle, I'll just tag you in here. How many in a row for Lena Winslow?
6 in a row.
6 in a row. And for the NUIC?
9 in a row.
9 in a row. Is it 14 out of 15?
Hold on.
I believe
it's 15 out of 15, but 14 out of 15 seasons, because 14 we had EPC and Forest and both go in 1A and 2A.
Incredible. It was a great day to be there. It's always a great day to be watching football in Stockton. I was there walking the sidelines. My son was there actually covering the game for Kyle Leach and his crew. They came in to do the NFHS live stream through Stockton's page. They always do a great job of their broadcast. They needed help. They needed an extra shooter, so I threw my son in, and he did great. By all accounts, Kyle Leach was very happy with it, so that was great. We did a pregame show. Kyle Kampmeyer from NUICfootball.com. You're in the house. Our first ever game day preview, and what a show it was. It was great. It was really cool to be there and to kind of see the atmosphere building during the middle of our show.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. Obviously, going through shortlist numbers, we had over 1,000 views already between your site and my site collectively, as we had it simultaneously casted to both sites. So that was awesome. On top of that, we heard one people come in and they had like 40-some people watching off of one show. So that gives you a kind of a proximity of how people are watching. And, of course, as soon as people started filling in, we had people coming up to us saying, hey, thanks for what you do. We had other people saying, hey, we hope your pick's wrong. So, obviously, people were definitely glued in on this stuff. So, it was great. It was awesome. I think the fandemonium around it was perfect for what we wanted to establish.
So we were fully rocking and rolling. Obviously, Kyle, you were there walking the sidelines. We had Shimdog there helping us out for View from the West and for NUIC, getting video and keeping updates. Mitch Stormer, you were in the command center all day long monitoring every game. So you'll kind of be our resource for what you saw around the state of Illinois. And a first-timer on the Instant REAX podcast, Matt Surdich in the house. Hey, how's it going, man? You made the longest trip, I think, of any of us today.
Yep, 3.5 hours. Got home about an hour ago, so it was a good day, though.
Yeah. Oh, great day. Mitch, the Stockton apologist there, as your handle says. And, man, we've had a lot of people get mad at us on our picks at this show, but you have a former mayor of Lena now coming at you? I mean, even civil servants are even mad at the picks you're making. And he's muted. He can't even defend himself.
Yeah, all things going against me now. Yeah, deep into the NUIC political game now, which is territory I didn't think I'd be in. But, hey, that's the nature of the game, I suppose.
Even civil servant. So, Mitch, if you notice, I had to don the Lena Winslow cap here, courtesy of your longtime friend, now friend of the show, Austin Rickles. He stopped by. He was, you might almost say he was a celebrity guest picker, but you kind of knew where his pick was going to go if you had to pin him down. But great to have him on the show briefly, making a cameo. And, hey, he gave us some hats, so I figured what better night to debut the cap on the show here. Lena Winslow looking great. Mitch, let's set the stage. Let's run through some scores, and then we'll kind of flip back, and we'll start in 1A and kind of break down the game and what we saw.
All right, where do you want to start? You want to go Where do we want to stick to tonight for the most part? We're going to stick in 3A like we did in the pregame show, and then we'll just kind of touch on the rest of the classes.
Yeah, let's go through the scores
Okay.
from 1A through 3A, because that's kind of our main, main point of interest.
Sure, we'll start in 3. So it's 3A North. You had the 2 seed Byron rolling over top seed Richmond Burton 44-10. I watched this entire game. I'll dive into that here shortly. On the south side, a terrific game between Tolono Unity and St. Joe Ogden. That was a rematch from the regular season. Tolono Unity escapes with a 51-44 victory. So that sets up Byron and Tolono Unity in the 3A title game next Friday. In 2A, in the North, Wilmington, as expected, rolled 41-0. That was the score at halftime over El Paso Gridley. Wilmington back in the state championship picture, facing a team familiar with that area as well. Moreau Forsyth getting back into the state championship, 10th time under head coach Josh Joseph, with a 28-6 win over Ala. And in 1A, as you guys just talked about, the big game of the day, Lena Winslow, the 3 seed, getting the win 30-16 over top seed Stockton. They will take on Brown County, making their first trip to the state championship with a thrilling 14-13 win over top seed Calhoun.
There we go. All right, well, it's I guess hot off the presses, as you would say. Not really, because it's video, but we got the highlights freshly edited. I got home, put some highlights together. So let's roll the clip here. Let's watch how it went down in Stockton today. Maybe. Oh, come on now. Well, it worked earlier,
It'll come. Just keep playing around. You always find a way.
Well, that was... Oh, here we go.
There we go.
So, big game, obviously, here in Stockton, and it started off very fast. Stockton tries the reverse, but the ball is on the turf, covered by Lena Winslow, and they're immediately set up with a short field, and you know where they're going with it. Aiden Wild punches through for the score. It's 8-0 early, but Stockton would respond. They go to the air. That's Larson to Carter Blair. That will set up this score. As again, Larson goes to the air. Noah Larson connects with Morgan Haas, and they strike back, so that will make it an 8-8 game at the half. But man, second half, it's Lena Winslow continuing to pound away with Aiden Wild, and then it's Schlichting making his way to the outside. Look at this hit right at the goal line. Noah Larson was shook up for Stockton. He would remain in the game. Great effort from him. Great effort from Alex Schlichting. That gives Lena Winslow the 14-8 lead. And then, man, Aiden Wild continues to do what he's done all year long. What I think is funny is I hear Stockton parents and coaches and everybody saying, you got to get low, you got to get low. They tried to get low on him, and he's so balanced and so athletic. He continues to fight through it, fight through tackles, fights through the line, continues to get the job done there. So that gave him a 22-8 lead. Mitch, I put this shot in just for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What a scene.
So Stockton not going away. Larson with the handoff right up the middle to Jack Menzendijk, a name we've called a lot this year. They've relied on him. He gets the touchdown. So that brings them close. But again, Aiden Wild, one of the big gainers for him, gets just short of the goal line. But it didn't matter. They were knocking on the door already at the 1-yard line behind that strong offensive line. It's the Panthers that punch it in, and that would do it. Lena Winslow gets the win here. Great atmosphere all the way around. Great effort, great performance from Lena Winslow. Let's check in on the celebration here. They were fired up. So while the celebration plays, Kyle, I'll turn to you first. And what did you see in this game? What was the difference between this game and week 2?
It goes back to the keys that we were talking about when we were doing our preview show. We said that One, it would come down to who would establish the line of scrimmage, and Lena Winslow made sure that they took care of that right off the get-go. I mean, that very first play that they had after that fumble recovery on the opening kickoff just established the tone right away. And then in the second half, we saw it begin to carry out. Aiden Wild just started to punish his way through that line into the second level. Surdich even said it himself. He goes, man, he just gets up and over the air on top of some of these plays as well. I mean, he was just putting his body in every way possible to get additional yards, run with power, run through people where he could. And then on top of that, you know, hats off to that offensive line for Lee Wynn. They dominated. They knew that they got dominated the last time. They took the domination this time. And then our X factor, of course, was Stockton's Noah Larson. And Lena Winslow's defense was much better in pass defense today than what we've seen in recent weeks, even dating back to week 2. And outside of a couple PI calls. But besides that, they were able to get pressure on Larson, make him make decisions quicker than what he was accustomed to, flushed him out of a pocket a few times, forced a few errant throws, and that really was the difference there.
Yeah. Shimdog, you were walking the sidelines with me, and you know, we were talking, you know, throughout the game, and when it got to halftime, we kind of wondered, like, where do the adjustments come in? And it really felt like there was something that changed in that second half for Lena Winslow. What they hadn't, you know, they moved the ball a little bit in the first half. They scored that one short field touchdown, but in the second half, it looked much different. They really established themselves on the ground and really got the job done there. What did you see in this one, in the second half in particular?
Yeah, most definitely. Their first possession, the second half, even though it was a quick drive, it felt like one of those, you know, kind of grinded out, you know, shift momentum drives. I think it was like a 4-minute drive, but you could just feel the way it made the entire path of the game change.
Yeah. Coach Surdich, you were walking the sidelines today. What stood out to you? What did you take away here from a great 1A showdown? Oh, you're muted. You're pulling a Mitch. There we go.
There we go. Well, one of the things we talked about before the game was turnovers and possible special team plays. And right off the bat, you know, Lena gets a takeaway and punches it in. And if the kids had any doubt going into the game after, you know, what happened the first time around, you know, they get on the board first and got some confidence going, and that helped. And then, you know, they drove right down the field. I think on their second possession, they didn't score, but they established things pretty early, and then Stockton settled in. But in the end, man, Aiden Wild was just a beast, man. And he's a big kid, and he's hard to tackle. And, you know, you alluded to it. They were screaming, hit him low, but he has really great balance. He spun out of that one tackle.
Yeah.
And to tackle a kid like him 30-some times a game, it just wears on you. He's just a big, bruising back, and it's hard to sustain for 4 quarters. And I think Lena, at the end of the second half, just kind of wore him down with a healthy diet to him, and then, you know, giving it to the other back. So, you know, credit to Lena.
What I think is funny is obviously it's well-deserved. We've talked a lot about what Aiden Wild did and how hard he runs. But, man, I think the biggest hit of the day came from Alex Schlichting around the corner, where he met up with Larson right at the goal line. And, man, neither kid was about to budge in that scenario. I give credit to both of them. There were 2 freight trains, you know, running down the tracks, and they ran into each other. And it was a hard hit, but just a really great effort there. You could really see kind of it all play out there. But we got some sound, some reaction on the instant reacts here from the Lena Winslow Panthers. So let's take to that real quick.
Feels great, especially after week 2. I think some teams would let that affect them throughout the season. We didn't really let it affect us. We used it as motivation to get back in the weight room, get better at what we need to get back, and it feels great to now be going on the state title.
You know, ever since Rochelle, we've been working to get here. We wanted to play them this whole time, and we just had to capitalize.
We're real hungry. This isn't our Super Bowl. Next, we still got one more game, and we're looking forward to that.
We thought they owned us up front on both sides of the ball week 2, and that was our goal, was to take care of business up front, and outside of a couple miscues in the first half, I thought we really dominated them. Well, I told our kids last night after practice, First of all, the semifinal game is the funnest game you'll ever play in. It is heads and tails above the state championship game. Obviously, when you get there, you want to win it. But I just told our kids, with it being us 10 miles apart from Stockton, the coaching staffs are tight, the kids are tight, two great teams going at it. I told them this will be the biggest game they ever play in. I don't care if they go on to college. I don't care if you're a freshman and you go to 3 more finals after this. This will be it, and it truly was. It was just so incredible to be a part of, and it was as fun on the field as it is right now.
Well, Mitch, I know you were following along with a lot of different games, but I want to get your thoughts on this one. You know, we've talked about this Lena Winslow team where it feels like, you know, this is their time of year, and maybe that sounds cliche, but in this particular season, it felt like they were playing better as the year moved along. I think we're seeing that play out right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't catch much of the first half of this game as I was watching the Byron game, but I was able to catch all the second half. And that it certainly, like you guys just kind of talked about, that's when the game just kind of turned on its head. And I kept thinking about this, like watching Lena last year, it looked like Aiden Wild was a fullback, right? This year, he's an absolute beast of a football player playing the fullback position. And you have that one clip, I think it was in the fourth quarter, where he cuts to the outside, and it's the one where he gets tripped up right before the end zone. Like, he should not be able to move that fast, you know, and especially from that position. So he's just a completely different player this year. And I think the way that they've been utilizing him, and then once you try and key on Aiden, here comes Alex Schlichting. And, you know, he may not have done a ton today, but he's the lightning back. And as soon as you get used to playing Aiden Wild and that big bruising back, they've got 43 waiting in the wings. So yeah, this is what they do, right? This is what Lena Winslow does. I picked Stockton in this game. I thought they had the tools to stop it, but it does not surprise me in the slightest that Lena Winslow is back once again in the 1A state championship.
Yeah, I do want to give credit to Stockton here, because when things were going south early, when they fumble that kickoff return right away, it's a short field. Lena Winslow wastes no time scoring. There was a point in time in there where that sideline of Stockton, the whole crowd went from amped up, yelling, screaming, to almost silent. It was a weird flip there real quick. And I felt like when Stockton wasn't able to score right away, Kyle, I'll bring you in. It felt like, it was only one score, but man, it kind of felt like Stockton's got to do something quick here, because they've lost all their positive momentum, and credit to them, they stuck with it. They limited what Lena Winslow could do, and they made it an 8-8 game at halftime.
Well, it's one of those things that, we call that the Lena Winslow effect. You know that you're up against the giant, and the giant is punishing you and putting their will on you. And I feel that the Stockton fans could feel it. I mean, it was tense. I told you before, it felt like you were in a popsicle stand or a pot, and it was just ready to burst and boil, and you weren't sure which way it was going. And it felt that way all through the first half. And I think that the fumble on the opening kickoff was really what turned things around right off the bat in favor of Lena Winslow and put Stockton on their heels. Yes, they were able to capitalize and get that touchdown before halftime to tie the game up, but at the same time, I think it was a mind block thing, really. I think that they knew that they weren't playing their best game. I think that Stockton also very much knew what they were up against as far as the fans are concerned. And obviously there was a lot of concerns thrown at the referees for whatever reason that was, missed calls or whatever. And let's be honest, the crew probably made a couple mistakes, but I felt like they made a couple mistakes in both directions. But it just seemed like Stockton got called for holding like a couple different times in a row. obviously we were at the other end of the field. I couldn't see it. I'm not going to comment it outside of what I heard.
Yeah. Well, there'll be one Stockton fan that'll be really happy that you brought that up because he made sure to mention to me, make sure you mention the referees on the pod. I won't say exactly what he said, but that's kind of paraphrasing it. But
let's just that's
It
the
is
second
what it
game
is.
I've heard. The second game that I've heard that, and I understand that that's going to be this time of year, and emotions are high. But it was a great football game, and let's leave it at that.
No, and I only bring it up because I was kind of laughing about it because I think people get caught up in it, and every call they see, they're a fan of Stockton, so they don't think it goes for them. Ultimately, that game wasn't decided by anyone other than the players on the field, and that's the way it should
Exactly.
be. I think you can get riled up about a few calls here or there, but no. So anyway, it was just funny because I heard a lot on the sidelines because Stockton, you're real close. So, but no, overall, great atmosphere. I love a game in Stockton, and it was a ton of fun today. And credit to Lena Winslow because man, I was thinking about it on the way home and talking to my son, and in the middle of this stretch, Kyle, we've talked about it over the years, but in the middle of this run that they're on right now, like we're witnessing history. We're witnessing stuff that has, rarely been done, if ever been done. And I think that I don't care what class it is. Like sometimes I feel like Lena Winslow gets kind of like not the same amount of credit they'd get if they were a 4A, 5A, 6A team. And, I need to shout it out on this podcast. That's why we're doing this, is like what they're doing is historic right now. It's unbelievable, and it's been a ton of fun to follow. Kyle, what say you? Of course, you're the, NUIC football guy. You started this whole thing 10 years ago, so.
Well, it goes back to, Lena Winslow's been on this course really since 2022. I mean, they were the second school in 1A to get there 3 consecutive years behind Carthage. They were the first ones to get there 4 times in 5 years. I know Tuscola was also close in that run, but it wasn't quite the tightness that Lena Winslow had it. But then Lena Winslow gets back in 23 to become the first team ever in 1A history to get there 4 consecutive years. Then 5, and now 6. So every single year, Lena Winslow is rewriting history. The thing is that people are tired of hearing about Lena Winslow. Like any dynasty, nobody wants to see dynasties go on. Me, myself, I like dynasties because you're watching history in the making every single moment. And you have to sit back, whether you like the team or dislike the team, sit back and take in the moment because it's not going to last forever.
Yep.
Yes, it seems like Lena Winslow's been here forever. They're going to their ninth state championship game since 2010. Well, Moreau Forsyth's going for the 10th time since 2006.
Yep.
Where's all the hate for don't get me wrong, I know Moreau Forsyth gets hate too, but let's be real here. I've already seen it. Lena Winslow should bump up to 2A if they're that good. Well, let's face it, they are that good. Would they beat Wilmington this year? Probably not. Would it be a better game than what people think it would be? Probably so. But at the same time, yeah, I think Lena Winslow would dominate a lot of teams in Class 2A, and it wouldn't even be close. Could they do that? Sure. But hell, their enrollment's like 230 kids. They don't need to. And then, of course, somebody already made the comment that it's like Little Rockford versus small towns. I don't know where the hell they were coming up from that. Lena Winslow, Rockford's like an hour away, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's just everybody's put hate on Lena Winslow because of the success that they're having. And it's built on a foundation with a program with coaches that have been there for 29, 30 years now that just continue to build upon it.
I just think for me, the longer we've done this show and the more I've learned about Rick Arend and the program he leads, I think that for me is like, I want to see, I root for all of our teams, right? Same thing you say every week, Kyle, root for the NUIC. You'd be happy for any of your teams to go, but I really do enjoy covering Lena Winslow. I enjoy Coach Aaron. I like the program he leads. I think is it cliche and stupid, does it the right way, but I think he does. I think that it's a program that it's no coincidence. It's not a fluke that they're winning this often. I think that they really have set up something very special. Surdich, I want to bring you in. You've seen a lot of 1A football, over the years, and you coached some 1A football. What do you look at in this program? What stands out to you, kind of watching from afar and being there up close today?
Yeah. You said it, coaching stability. They've had a staff that's been together for so long. I know I've heard from other places they have their assistant coaches, man, they are coaches in other sports. They work together. That is so many times in the small school sector a big problem. You got your basketball coach who wants them to focus on basketball or this or that. They're always working together year round for the common purpose of not just their sports, but all sports and building athletes. So that's one big thing. The coaching aspect, they've been together forever, and they just do things right, man. They're fundamentally sound. They're never going to beat themselves. They play a physical brand of football. They play solid defense, solid special teams. They've got it going on, and they shouldn't have to apologize for that.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Well, Mitch, anything on Lee Win? Otherwise, I'll let you get into the 1A South, because we saw a heck of a game down there, and we'll find out who the opponent is for Lena Winslow.
Yeah, I think we can do that. I think, everything's that we can say has been said about Lee Win, and it was just a fantastic atmosphere from what it looked like from my viewpoint. I'm jealous that you guys were there. Close in that first half, and then it was just kind of a completely different game in the second half.
I will say before I forget, talk to Coach Aaron after the game, and Mitch, as per usual, we'll try to get our coaching conversations this week. So we'll sit down we might try to talk to 1A coaches, 2A coaches, and 3A coaches. So from both teams, from the North and the South. Obviously, Rick Aaron's very familiar with these coaching conversations because we have them every year.
Yeah, I've already laid the groundwork there on a couple, so I think we're going to be good on that.
I love to hear it. Well, I let Coach know, and I also told him, Kyle, you'll appreciate this. I also told him that I won't make him stay awake for the instant reacts. And he said, "Oh, thank God! It's too late, man. I'm going to bed." So
don't let him fool you. He's probably at the horse right now.
Okay. No comment, but yeah, celebrate as you will, Coach. But
just hanging out with those former mayors talking bad about me.
I see you added a little insignia amongst your name there, Mitch. That's pretty good. It probably is fitting.
Yeah. Well, Mitch, tell us about Brown County, Hardin, Calhoun. What a game down there.
Yeah, it really was. So this game had kicked off while we were doing the pregame show, and so had eyes on it, and it had gotten to halftime while we were still doing the pregame. Back and forth battle. Defenses were really on point. But we kind of thought that would happen. Certainly our guy Logan had said that this would be a low-scoring game, and score was at half. A couple of big plays from each team. The biggest thing in the first half, and this was what Brown County capitalized on last week, was turnovers. That there was an early fumble recovery by Bo Little. That was near the end zone when Calhoun was just getting ready to it looked like they were getting ready to score. Michael Cassidy had an interception in that first half. So great first half. Second half rolls around. Calhoun gets a score. They go up 7-0. But once again, Brown County's defense came to play. Bo Little, who recovered that fumble in the early part of the game, he had an interception. Trey Fullerton had some big runs, sets up a score from him. That made the score 7-6. Okay, this is late in the fourth. It's 7-6. They go for two. It stopped. Remains 7-6. So Brown County does this kind of a pooch kick, kind of pop-up kick, and Calhoun, the receiver, kind of has his hand on it. It bounces right off it, and Michael Casing recovers it for Brown County. So that sets them up in good field position. They would go on to score. They go up 14-7. Eli Staten, it's Staten or Staten. I apologize to Eli for not knowing how to pronounce your name, but Eli got the score there. So at that point, Brown County's up 14-7. Calhoun goes on to score with 15 seconds left in the game. It's 14-13 at that point. They go for the kick and the tie, which is missed, but Brown County runs into the kicker. So they move the ball up to the 1 or the 2, whatever it is. Calhoun comes out of that penalty, goes for 2. It is stopped by Cooper Adcox of Brown County, and that seals the first trip to the state championship game for Brown County and Coach Little.
So just a heartbreaker, a gut wrencher there for Calhoun. Credit to Brown County. They get the job done, and it's history there for them. And I did see there's a Brown County episode of Shuck on the Truck. Did you catch that, Mitch?
Yep, absolutely. He was parked right in the end zone.
Oh, I love it. I'm hoping that this means maybe we get a Shuck on the Truck in Normal this weekend.
Yeah, I'm trying to lay that groundwork too. I think we can make something happen.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. Well, Kyle, thoughts on this one? I know you were, in Stockton, but what did you think about this one and the result and the way it played out?
Well, so obviously Calhoun got up 7-0, and right away I'm like, hey, look at that! It's 0-0 halftime, 7-0 Calhoun to start the third quarter. It was like, all right, now we got some stuff moving here, and then all of a sudden we see that BC gets within a point. It was 7-6, and then we hear Calhoun's driving, and then there's a fumble, and then BC scores. It's like, okay, now it's 14-7, and then we hear, oh, Calhoun just scored. Oh, they're going for over. It's kind of funny. I called Jared Hoots as soon as I left Stockton just to give him a congratulations, and he was telling me, he goes, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. This is great. He goes, they hadn't even gotten home yet. They were like 5 or 10 minutes outside of Mount Sterling yet, waiting on the police escort to bring them back into town. So obviously a lot of excitement there. But I told him, I said, well, I'm going to let you go. I want you to enjoy the experience and whatnot. Obviously, this ain't his first time to state. He's the head coach for the baseball team too, so they went to state a couple years ago. But at the same token, I want him to take it all in, because when you're making your first ever trip to state, you got to experience those things. And I told him I'd catch up with him down in Normal, because we gotta get a Mac fam picture.
There we go. All right, well, unless anyone else has anything on this one, we can jump into 2A and talk about results and what the matchup is coming up over the weekend.
Fun storyline here, we'll save it for this week. But you get the perennial power, right? Lee Wynn coming in against a first timer in Brown County. So real David Goliath storyline to watch here this week.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Mitch, 2A.
Yeah. Do you want to talk Maroa Forsyth first before we bring in our guest?
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So that final, again, pulling that up, Maroa Forsyth got the win 28-6 over Arthur Lovington Atwood Hammond. The story coming into this one was Maroa Forsyth was going to be without Zach Smith. He's their top target. We talked about him on the the pregame show. Mr. Everything, 1,300 yards, 21 touchdowns. So they were without their top target today, but didn't matter too much the way that they were playing defense. This was scoreless in the first quarter. Maroa Forsyth opened up the scoring in the second quarter and then held a 14-6 advantage after the break. Ryan Shepard had a pair of rushing touchdowns in the second half, but it was the Trojan defense that really just shut down everything that Ala was trying to do in this one. And as mentioned, this is now the 10th time that Josh Joseph is leading Maroa Forsyth to the state finals. And be good to talk to Coach once again this year like we did last year.
Yeah, for sure. I think, we felt like last year, we said it in your preview in the game day, earlier today, it felt like it was a frustrating scenario for them to play out last year, where they had a lot of juniors and a lot of them were injured, not 100%. This time it feels like they're firing on all cylinders right now. Matt Surdich, what do you know about Maroa Forsyth? And you were there last year, and you saw him fall short against Chicago Christian, but it seems like we talked about, this is a different story.
Yeah, same story as Lena Winslow, man. A veteran coaching staff that's been together, a winning culture, You know, they just keep doing things year after year after year. I know they hit the skids in the middle of the year, and I think people were kind of doubting them. I think they ran into who they lose to the first time, Olympia, and then they had a
Olympia and
close
then
call with New
Williamsville.
Berlin. But you know, they seem to be playing ball at the right time of the year right now. So obviously, I think Shepard was banged up in the state title game last year. He didn't play especially well, but he's a dynamic playmaker, pass or run. So he's going to need to play really, really well for them to have a chance next week. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're waiting to hear. So speaking of next week, they'll play Wilmington. We're waiting to hear from Matt Now, who joined us last week. He was in Wilmington. I haven't heard from him. Mitch, do we know his update?
He says he's ready.
Oh, well, I don't see him jumping in. Did we send him an email? Do we have his email address?
It's possible that we didn't.
Okay. All right.
Matt,
well,
send me a DM with email address. I'll send the link to you.
Yeah, there we go. Well, in the meantime, let's talk through. Kyle, I'll put you on the spot here. What are your takeaways on, your thoughts on seeing Maroa Forsyth here for a second year in a row, back in the state title game?
Well, it goes to what Surdich was saying. I mean, it's Maroa Forsyth. It's Josh Jostis. It's what the Trojans are all about. State football at this level. I mean, the history speaks for itself. The deep playoff runs. I mean, they haven't lost a first round game since what, 2004, 3, something like that. I mean, basically most of Jostis's tenure, they've been a winning program and a deep playoff program. Not surprised to see them here. Obviously, back a couple weeks ago on our playoff show, they were not my pick to be here, but they were my pick to probably be here in the semifinals. But as soon as everything broke free and stuff hit the fan, so to speak, Maroa Forsyth definitely stood out. And, going back to what Surdich was saying there too, they had a couple hiccups. They got a little banged up there when they lost to Williamsville. They lost to Olympia. They had the scared by New Berlin. Even the first round game with Chester was kind of something that you were like, okay, what's seriously going on? And then the last couple weeks, it's just been, oh, there's Maroa. There they are. All right, they're back. And, going back to our live show earlier today, too, we all had this matchup picked. So not a surprise. I think we all knew Wilmington would win big. Don't think we knew Wilmington would win big like they did. Maroa Forsyth, I was hoping, or maybe I was expecting them to win bigger than they did, but they still got a 3-touchdown win there. And credit to Coach Jefferson and Allah for putting up a great defensive effort in that first half to really limit what Maroa could do on the scoreboard as well. But obviously they were able to break it open, and we touched base on that exact point. We talked about how fast they are on defense and that they were able to shut down Allah's offense. And I think this leads to probably one of the more intriguing matchups, I think, in the state championships. Granted, it might also be the most overwhelmingly favorited championship game here in the small classes as well.
You meaning that you think one team or the other, I won't say what, but you think one team will be a heavy favorite in this game more so than some other games?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Here's my thing, man, is like I said it on our episode last week. I should have trusted my gut back in week 9 heading into the postseason when I thought, man, I've seen Maroa Forsyth. I know what they can do. They were in the state championship game last year. They weren't healthy. Now they're healthy. Don't let those scares late in the season scare you off. I should have just trusted and went with it. And I pivoted, and now here they are. So they definitely proved me wrong. And, hey, Kyle, quick random side note. When we were talking about, for game day, showing mascots, why didn't we use the thing right behind you, the panther behind you? We could have held that up.
I could have brought Perky. I thought about bringing Perky. like I told you before, I had Stockton on my head just like Mitch for the longest time, and it took a last-minute decision for me to flip the script and go with Lena Winslow, but then it came down to Lena Winslow has been here, they've done it, and I think they felt embarrassed back in week 2, and they weren't going to let that happen again, and it showed today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could have brought Perky, and I didn't. I got a little. Oh wait, I got a little yell thing here too.
Oh, there you go.
I heard.
Greg, are you ready for my hot take?
Yeah. Let's get into it here.
Okay, this is assuming that Wilmington goes out and does next week what they've done through 4 rounds of the playoffs. I don't think they've given up a first half touchdown in any of the 4 playoff games, and I think they've had the running clock for all 4. So assuming the same thing happens again, is Wilmington the greatest 2A team of all time, or is Wilmington the most dominant 2A team of all time? And if not, who?
Man, I'd have to rack my brain to think about 2A state champions over the years, but I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a very good reason why 3-4 weeks ago we talked about, boy, if Wilmington falls into 2A, that's dangerous. You know, that's why that conversation happened, and it's played out. I guess I'll default, Mitch. You were rolling, thinking back in your head. Anything come to mind there? Or are you pulling up IHSA for us?
There was a time that Bureau Valley played 2A, but I don't remember if that was one of the years they won state.
I want to say both their state titles, or the
They
state
were in
title was
3A both times.
3A.
Yeah,
I believe so.
I think you're right.
I think they beat Tolono Unity in like one of the years, and then they ran into Driscoll, unfortunately, the year that Driscoll dropped.
Yep.
I think they played Driscoll first. That would have been in 03 or 04.
04.
And then they played Tolono in 05, I think.
Yeah, because Wilmington was in 3A, and they lost their star Tony Verselli against Addison Driscoll, and I think they played them to like a 14-11 game and almost knocked off Driscoll, and then Driscoll got to the finals, and that's where they met up with BV.
Yeah.
I think you're forgetting
It's
about
it's a very good question.
1987 Marion Central Catholic.
Ooh,
Yeah, we
that's
don't
a
talk about
Kyle
all-star
favorite.
teams.
Who
No
could
all-star
forget?
teams, Kyle.
Kyle, that's one of your favorite teams. I've heard you reference that before. That's
the
run.
year that they beat Stockton, and Stockton had a state championship caliber team that year, and they ran into Marion Central Catholic, and that was Marion's closest game of those playoffs. I think it was a 26-12 game. But that 87 team had the Hartley boys on it that both went on to play at, I think one went to Illinois and one went to Iowa State or something like that. They both went D1.
Yeah. Well, looking at, we talked about it. It's an intriguing matchup. It's a contrast in styles that is really interesting when you're talking about Maroa Forsyth and Wilmington. And obviously I know, what Wilmington has done. We've talked a lot about it, but you really feel like Wilmington's the heavy favorite, more so than Lena Winslow would be a favorite, and more so than, Byron will be a favorite, I would say, if I'm just kind of tossing out what I think would be projections.
Oh, for sure. I mean, let's be honest. I said it on the show today. Whoever wins today's game, Lena Winslow Stockton, they're 2 touchdown favorites going in the next week, hands down.
Yeah.
And, right now, Lena Winslow's looking like an early 3 touchdown favorite. Taking a look at Byron and Unity, Byron is probably a 2-score differential right now. Could it be more? Yeah, it could be. But that's just where they're at right now. Wilmington is looking like a 5 touchdown favorite right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know about that. Does anyone else, does that surprise anyone else, or am I just...
No.
No.
All right, then I'm the weird one. Fine. All right. I will say that somebody already mentioned it, and it's absolutely true. Like, the weather forecast could play out and be terrible for a team like Maroa Forsyth. Because what do we say around here, Kyle?
Run teams win in November, and I see Coach Unruh's on here commenting if Wilmington played starters, they'd be averaging 80 points a game.
Man, it is insane what they do. Hopefully we'll get Matt now in here to tell us, the firsthand accounts on that one. But, Mitch, do you want to flip over to 3A while we're waiting here?
I'm looking back real quick because I don't think we have to go back too far. The 2021 Wilmington team. Their playoff scores were 55-0, 42-7, 45-25, and 42-14 before they ended up winning that state championship. So, if anything, it could be another Wilmington team somewhere in the history. But no, that's an interesting question, Matt. I would love to keep going through these archives and seeing, but we might have to not go far because it could be another Wilmington team.
Yeah, I agree with Kyle as he brought up the Marian Catholic team from '87 as being possibly the best, but looking even at their scores, they haven't rolled through it with like 4 straight running clocks. So Marian could be the best 2A, but I don't know that we've seen domination like we have from start to finish or start to half with Wilmington has so far this postseason.
Yeah, no, Wilmington's on another level right now for sure. And, that goes back to what we talked about. When we saw that their enrollments were dropping, when ISBE, not IHSA, started changing up enrollments to get realigned with the 1-year enrollment cycle from the previous 2-year average enrollment cycle, and we saw that Wilmington could drop into 2A, we all said right back in week 2 that Wilmington definitely became a heavy favorite right then and there.
Yep. All right, Mitch, give us the rundown on Class 3A. I know you had your eyes on Byron.
I was watching the Byron game today while you guys were had eyes there in Stockton. So again, Byron got the win, 44-10. Wasn't really a question in this one. It started off kind of like what we had said. I believe we all said that we thought this game was going to be close early. Richmond Burton went on a pretty good drive in their first possession. They went to the air 3 different times, all on 3rd down, and converted each one, just kept moving the chains. They went up 7-0. Byron tied it. Richmond Burton then went back, kicked a field goal, so they were up 10-7. The turning point of this was a Richmond Burton fumble in the second quarter, and like from that point, it was on. Like it was on, and it was over from there. And that's when you started to see the Caden Considine show. 5 touchdowns today, 287 yards, including an 80-yarder in the second quarter. That just really was a backbreaking thing. That just, it was over once you saw that run. And he had a couple more where he was seeking out contact, and it just got to a point where it was going to get to a 44-10 final. Let's just say that. So, great highlights from this game on our feed from Joshua Schumann. This looked like a Byron team that I'm not sure who can stop them. Again, watching Caden Considine, how physical he runs, when he gets the speed, there's no one who can catch him. One of those touchdowns is he's got all this open field. He could go left or he could go right from a defender right at the goal line. And he just he seeks it out. He puts his head down and just knocks this poor defender over and just kind of steps over him. Like he never stood a chance. So it was just a dominant win from Byron. And they're going back to the state championship. I think this is their 5th trip in the last 7 years. So dominant performance today from the Tigers.
Yep. Awesome. And on the south side of the bracket, saw an interesting game. There are plenty of points to be had out there between Unity and St. Joe Ogden.
Yeah. St. Joe had an early lead, and Tolono, I think they had a pair of pick sixes in the second quarter. So that put them in front, but St. Joe never really got away. But we talked about Dane Einzenmenger in the pregame show. 14-19 today, 240 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also had 76 yards on the ground and a touchdown. So that's 300 and 15 yards and 4 touchdowns. So I think it was me who said that he would be a difference maker. That's not a huge hot take, but he played really, really well today. 3 of those touchdowns were in the second half. Crew Eckstein, 28 carries for 170 yards and 2 scores. So Tolono Unity had pulled away. St. Joe Ogden made it a 1-possession game with about 2 minutes left, but they didn't get the onside kick, and Tolono was able to run out the clock. I did not know this. This is Tolono Unity's 7th trip to state. They're 0-6 all time.
Yeah, actually, we were talking about that earlier, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, between them and St. Joe Ogden, they were combined 0-12.
Man.
Wow.
That's shocking.
That goes back to the Dick Duval and Scott Hamilton rivalry.
Yep. Well, Mitch.
And then that they met up like 15 times in the playoffs during all that time, too.
Yeah. I have scores from around the rest of the classes. Do you want me to read through those? Do you want to read through those?
Anchor, if you got them. Otherwise, I can roll through these the brackets quick, too.
If you got the brackets, go for it. It's
okay, sure.
Yep.
Okay, no problem. 4A. 4A North, as expected, Lombard Martini defeated Morris 47-20. This was the other game I was kind of mentioning that there were some comments about the refs being bad, but again, I'm not going there. I didn't think Morris stood a chance in this game regardless. So Montini moves on. Great game in the South between Rochester and Bree Central. This game went to overtime.
Wow.
See if I can remember this. Bree Central scored. They scored on a 4th and goal on a pass play, kicked the extra point to go up 42-35. Rochester scores on their first play in their overtime possession. They line up to kick. They call a timeout. They line the offense back up. And I believe it's a sophomore running back. They have 2 really good running backs. I think their senior is an all-stater, but they gave it to a sophomore. And the hole was there. He cruised right in. But just that moment to give it to a sophomore, Rochester's probably going to be pretty good again for a while. So Rochester gets the win 43-42, and that sets up what could be a good one there, Montini and Rochester next Friday night. In 5A, Wheaton St. Francis gets over their semifinal first, I guess. they get in. They beat Belvedere North 35-13. They will play Providence Catholic 31-21 winners over Oak Forest. Moving to 6A. Unbelievably good game. Didn't see it, but I saw how this ended. Fenwick and Naz. Fenwick stops a 2-point conversion with no time on the clock. I don't know if that was the end of regulation or overtime, whatever that was, but they stopped a 2-point conversion. They beat Naz 28-27 to probably finish runner-up in 6A because they will take on East St. Louis, who won 50-7 over St. Lawrence today.
Mitch, unfortunately, you will not get to talk about St. Lawrence's uniforms this year.
Yucks. They looked good today, but didn't help them whatsoever. Moving to 7A, you had St. Rita getting the 54-34 win over Batavia. So St. Rita goes on. They will take on Brother Rice, who beat Downers Grove North 45-17. And in 8A, I don't have the final score, but I know Mount Carmel beat Fremd, so they're moving on. And Oswego defeated Lockport 10-7. Lockport attempted a field goal with no time left on the clock to tie it. It was short, and Oswego moves on to the 8A state championship.
There you go. All right. Well, it wouldn't be the instant REAX without a little bit of spontaneity. So here they are, back from Stockton, back on the road trip. So boys, pretty great Saturday afternoon for you boys. Get to make the trip to Stockton. You know, I saw some gas station sandwiches and energy drinks on the way there, and you guys were ready to go.
Hey, hold on. I'm sorry, Bull. First off, I want to say I think I found Aiden Wild or Lena Winslow's wrist guard because it was just all day. Just win. That kid I told you, Kyle, from the start, I said Aiden Wild, Lena Winslow.
You did, Biggie.
It was a wonderful day. And the thing that we love about high school football, two towns right next to each other, meeting up in what many think is, the 1A state championship. I didn't have a dog in the fight, so to say, not to, use that as a reference or anything, but I didn't. I had no skin in the game. I was driving to watch a place I'd never been to before, and it was fun to be, just an innocent bystander taking that in and witnessing both sides and the interactions and whatnot. But wonderful setup. 1A football to a T. Great small town, great drive. Had a great drive up and back. And, of course, listen, you guys, this pregame was great. Just an all-around great day, not only just for small school football, for state of Illinois football and, in the 3A that we and below that we care about,
Yeah, Bully, I was shocked you'd never been to Stockton before. That caught me off guard because I know you covered some NUIC back in the day.
I've covered some, and I've called some games also with doing stuff in the past with WRMJ and Rockridge football. I've been to Eastland Pearl City. I've done a game there before. That might be the closest that we've been up there, that Rockridge has been up north, so to say. Yeah. But I have not, had never covered a game either back, in the day with the highlight zone up in Stockton. So had seen plenty of highlights over the years. Love the spear on the side of that helmet. Yep. Lee Win. It was a great uniform combo day if you loved uniforms. It was a great eye-appealing matchup. But, man, Lena Winslow is a real deal up close, man. Really well-coached team. That O-line doesn't get talked about enough. They did a wonderful job today. I was going to ask you guys, who had the bigger game stat-wise? Was it Considine for Byron or was it Wild for Lena Winslow? Because Wild had a really good game as well.
That's not comparable.
Considine had 287 and 5. Kyle, you got
Wild had 261 and 3.
But a lot more carries.
Yeah. Yeah. Wild was definitely the horse today, man.
Yep.
How many carries did Wild have?
He had to be close to 30. Yeah. I don't have the official carries yet because I haven't received the stats yet, but I reached out to the head stat keeper and he'd already disposed of the stats to the coaches, so he couldn't remember either.
Constantine had 20. Constantine had 24, so a hot 10 yards a clip there for Caden.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
the
day of the big back, the NFL has the National Tight End Day. This is the day of the big back, and it may be a repeat next Friday when you talk about the success of Lena Winslow going forward on Friday, and, of course, the success of Byron, of course, in 3A. Both these guys, I think, will have big games or need to have big games for their teams to achieve what many think that both these guys are probably the favorites in their respective class championships.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So, well, hey, you guys are welcome to stick around. We got Matt now in the lobby. He was at Wilmington, so we kind of want to catch up with him, get his thoughts as he saw Wilmington Wildcats firsthand today.
Absolutely. We best of both worlds. We got to witness the Stockton Lena Winslow game, and then we watched Wilmington on the way home. Of course, technology is amazing. So we got to watch that game, and utterly amazing, man. Considering your point later, we both agree, maybe not the greatest high school team of all time in 2A, maybe the most dominant.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. They're definitely in the conversation, man. Numbers talk, and they don't give up too many. So,
yeah, for sure, no doubt about it. All right, I think Matt now is here. We don't see him? Can we hear him?
No, he's still on mute.
I'm trying. We're trying.
Matt.
Maybe not. Maybe we don't have him quite yet. Well, let him figure it out. But well, all right. Where do we actually? You know what? That was a great. Bully mentioned the uniform matchup there, Mitch. That's a great segue or a great plug for what we got coming this week. Of course, one of our favorite annual traditions around here, the UniView State Championship preview episode. probably going to come out either Monday or Tuesday of this week. We'll have our regular episode come out on Tuesday as well. A lot of content coming from View from the West, and it starts with the uniforms.
We'll be doing that.
Hey.
We'll be recording that tomorrow night. And then just to set the scene here, teams in the South are the home team this year. Teams in the North will be wearing their away uniforms, and then 7 and 8A, the higher seed, will be the home team. So we're prepping all that work, a lot that goes into that show. But yeah, we'll be recording that tomorrow night, and however that works out, we'll release it on Monday or Tuesday.
So okay, so in 7 and 8A, it's the higher seed that is considered the home team.
Is it the higher or the lower? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Higher.
Kyle?
I'm
Higher.
making stuff up.
The higher seed is the home team. That might adjust some of the photos I got to find then, but we'll talk about that. We'll figure it out. So, all right.
Now, when we say higher, are we talking the better seed or the higher number seed?
Okay, that's a fair question, Kyle.
It's the higher number seed because they're seeded 1 through 32. So whoever has the highest seed will be the home team in 7A and 8A. The rest of them will be the South teams this year.
There we go. Matt, now you're still. I see your box here, but I don't see you. Can you hear us? No luck on Matt now. Learning about Wilmington here. So
he's trying.
Yeah, I know. I can see it. Yeah. All right. Well, where we want to go next? What else we got here? Hey, can we talk about? Let's give shout out to Shimdog here. He goes to the I-8FA state title game last night. He's driving back home, has a tire blowout, but no excuses. He's still there today, earliest. You're the first one there today. So Credit Shim where it's due, man. You are a road warrior, and you are getting there no matter what the conditions.
Yeah, I appreciate the shout out. It was definitely an interesting night, to say the least.
So, yeah, well, I'm glad you, got home around 3 a.m.?
Yep.
Oh, my God. Man, that's...
Don't say road warrior around the Reynolds War Room. They might get a little too excited over there when you hear that.
It's fair. That's fair. Well, hey, that's a good segue to we have an 8-man state champion in Amboy for the 3rd year in a row. We've talked about the Lena Winslow dynasty and what they're doing. But, Kyle, we got a dynasty, no doubt about it, in 8-man football. It's the Amboy Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, 4 consecutive trips to the state championship game, 3 consecutive state championships. They're 5 years in I-8FA. They have never missed the semifinals. And the last 4 years getting to state. And people are going to hate it, but they're the odds-on favorite again going into next year. They return a bunch of those kids that just plugged away to a state championship again last night. So Amboy's definitely got a lot of things going on. Shout out to the Payne train, Coach Scott Payne and his staff and his crew. They've been doing a lot of things. They don't get a lot of notoriety. They stay under the radar a lot. Only one of their coaches is regularly on social media, and that's Coach Tyson Powers. And even there, it's sparingly at best. So they just do a great job of what they do, staying to themselves. And, it goes back to, like we said, week 1, they lost to Milledgeville, and then they just quietly and methodically just plugged away and destroyed everybody in their path. And, they got down early against Polo. I mean, I think everybody was shocked that Polo got up 14-0. And then Amboy just did what they did and fought back and took control of the game and then brought home another title.
We're talking 8-man football. We got people commenting on the East St. Louis Flyer. That is a first. That is a definite first.
Oh, he said, oops, typo, fly high.
Well, I mean, he's still talking Flyers, I think. So
yeah,
that's got to be St. Louis. So, all right, Shimdog, you were walking the sidelines there in Monmouth. Less than ideal conditions. But again, shout out to you, man. You're braving the elements, getting the highlights. I was following along just like everybody else, and it was great stuff. Really appreciate it. What'd you see in Amboy in that win?
Yeah, they fell behind 14-0 early, but they were kind of able to, to stay the course and get a touchdown here, and then they got one right before the half to tie it up right before half, and then came out and did what Amboy does, went out and won a football game.
Yeah. I mean, Kyle, were you surprised to see, Polo jump out to that 14-0 lead? Obviously, we know how good Mercer Mumford's been, so it wasn't surprised that he was, effective, but that was a statement early, and you wondered how it would play out, and obviously Amboy ended up, catching their stride there and going away with it.
Yeah, I think I wasn't so surprised that Polo was in the game. I mean, go back and re-listen to the live show that me and Shim had recorded. I picked Amboy to win 28-20, and the final score was 30-20. So I mean, pretty much nailed that one. But yeah, see, Coach Unruh was happy. He was in the presser box too. Yeah, we've seen a lot of things that Polo had changed from where they were week 2, week 3, week 4, and then into the playoffs. And one of those was moving the All-Stater Wyatt Plockno off the line and moving in that fullback position to run right behind and off the edge of the other All-Stater in Damon Rao. And then with Mumford being an All-Stater himself, you basically got all three of your All-Staters right there in a line, exactly what you want. Amboy struggled to stop it early, but then they found out what they needed to do, and then unfortunately for Mumford too, he came out with a bad injury to his left calf knee area that sidelined him, and unfortunately it kind of led to the demise for Polo. But I'll give them a huge benefit of credit here. They continued to fight. They never gave up, even though Mercer was on the sidelines, unable to play. JT Stevenson was able to keep things going offensively at the quarterback position. That led to a lot of positive plays for the Marcos. But unfortunately, it was a little too late at the time as well, as they scored that last touchdown with like a minute 13 left in the game. And they would have needed a big-time miracle in order to make anything happen of it, especially after they missed a 2-point conversion. So,
yeah. I mean, credit goes to Amboy, man. Kyle and Mitch, I think back to we did an instant REAX podcast after they fell short in the state title game to West Central, and we all agreed. We felt like that Amboy team was a year away. And now, fast forward, did we think we'd see this kind of run? Especially, that team last year, we kind of knew. This year, there was expectation there, but there was other teams in the mix for sure, and they get the job done.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the things. I mean, Amboy graduated a lot of kids from last year's team, and this year's team, we talked about it back in August when we did the preview shows. Like, we know that Amboy's got players, but we don't know their names yet. And I said, at some point midway through the season, we're going to know who these names are. And, of course, Jose Lopez, Colt McCoy, and Caden Heath just rose to the forefront. We already knew about Evan Flanagan. He had came on the scene last year as a sophomore at defensive end. He was absolutely huge last night in that state championship game. He's one of the guys that's going to be returning next year as well. He's an all-stater. So, you have that entire backfield coming back. The three guys I just listed. You have the quarterback, Tanner Welch, is coming back. Evan Flanagan's coming back. These guys are going to be loaded for another year. And, like Coach Unruh said, about to be 4 in a row.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's make the hard pivot from 8-man football back to 2A. Fresh out of Wilmington, we got Matt now. Matt, you jump in on video, and we already got people commenting on the sick Metallica shirt that you're rocking on the Instant REAX pod. So welcome back to the Instant REAX, and how was Wilmington tonight? Tell us all about it.
It was great. Can you guys hear me now?
We can. We got you.
Yes. All right. Yeah. No, it was typical Wilmington, and I get to see the pregame. It's the best. I said on Twitter, it's the best damn pregame around.
Yeah, I gotta see that firsthand sometime because it's really cool.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. And
Greg,
I
next year, Greg.
all right. I didn't grow up all that far away from Wilmington. Grew up in Ottawa. I'm not all that far away from Wilmington. So, yeah. Just,
So what's your excuse?
Well, yeah, well, I don't live in Ottawa anymore, so that's part of the excuse. But
Hey, where's the Leewin Wilmington game next year?
I think that's scheduled in Leewin because Leewin goes
okay.
up to Darlington. But in 2027, it'll be in Wilmington.
And you
Okay.
are
That's a home and
game
home.
day
Awesome.
in the woods in Wilmington.
Hey, we're coming that
yeah.
way. Hitter, you'll be on the sideline somewhere, though, unfortunately.
yeah, I love the idea though. We got to give credit here. Surdich is the I think the man behind the game day idea, because as we were texting all throughout the beginning of the week, and I think you put it out there first, and it was like I kind of jumped on board right away. Like, we got to do that. We got to do the game day. So now you're calling out game day from the woods in Wilmington. That sounds cool.
That would be awesome.
It does sound cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, did you say there were 74 bikes there tonight?
That
I
was
have
just an
no-
estimation. I did not get the official count.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hitter was just ab-living numbers. It's all good. We're good.
Yeah.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
It was the
There was a
it was
lot.
the
There
most
was a lot. There was a lot.
Yeah, it was the most that I had seen out of all the times I've been there. It felt like that there were more than normal, for sure.
Yeah. Me and Surdich pulled it up on the live feed during the Stockton Lena Winslow game. We kind of took a break from watching that game to watch the Wilmington entrance.
I know I think it was last week they had 56 officially. And I saw somewhere on Facebook, some biker club or something in Wilmington was like, if you got a bike, come out this week. So it could have been 70 tonight. Who knows?
I just saw a Shim Dog said that motorcycle sales are booming in Wilmington right now.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. So what I want to know from you, Matt, now is I've never had to shoot video highlights of Wilmington. How much am I going to be driven crazy trying to follow their offense in the way that they are so deceptive?
Well, you know, when you're watching a wing tee anytime, it's like don't blink or you'll miss. With them, it's the same deal. It's probably more so with Wilmington for sure. It's very, very deceptive.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah, so I mean, take me through kind of we're talking semifinals and they're blowing a team out. Take me through kind of the game early on and how it played out.
Well, the Titans started with the ball, and the first play of the game, Owen Adams threw a 40-yard bullet. And it seemed like, okay, you get that feeling like, it's going to be like that. But then their offense stalls deep into Wilmington territory, and then it was just all Wilmington the rest of the way through. I have it in my notes here real quick. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
So there were touchdowns, not necessarily in order, but there were touchdowns of 38 yards, 23 yards, 22 yards, 12 yards, 61 yards, and 21 yards.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So we were already kind of talking about it, and Kyle threw it out there. He thinks that Wilmington will be the biggest favorite of any game on Friday down in the state championship games.
I don't disagree with that. That's I think that well, I would say either that or Mount Carmel against Oswego.
Okay, if we're talking the whole weekend. Yep. Okay.
Are you talking specifically Friday night? Then yes, or Friday, yes.
There you go.
For sure.
Hey, Coach Unruh did state last night when we were in the press box, Wilmington wins by 5 running clocks.
in one game?
No. They clocked their way to a state championship.
I know what you're saying, but
okay.
Yeah,
but it could be one game. Who knows?
Yeah.
Kidding.
I saw a tweet from our local paper guy that covered the game tonight, and 4 of Wilmington's 5 first half touchdowns were on drives of 2 plays or less.
Was it Mason that said
Yes.
it? By any chance? I figured. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested to see them, and I'm also, if I'm being honest, like a little nervous shooting highlights because what they do is trying to fool you, and if I'm trying to shoot that real tight highlight video, I'm afraid I'm going to miss some plays. We'll see. That'll be the true test there.
The one thing that Maroa has going against them, and I think Wilmington would do this to any team. I'm going to try and pull up the stats really quick that Shim had sent me earlier. I want to say that Maroa was coming into like today. They give up like 221 yards on the ground per game to teams not named Wilmington. And now you have to play them in a state championship. Like, I don't want to be totally anti-Maroa Forsyth because I am super impressed with their offense. And I think their secondary is really, really good. But, I mean, they can be beat on the run, and that's exactly what Wilmington's going to do. But, again, I think they would do that to anybody. I think they do that to anybody in 3A. So, yeah, we'll see. That's why you play the game.
Yep. All right, well, we got people in the chat saying they're here for a Bull Tate hot take. So let's go. Putting you on the spot. Let's get a hot take.
But before that, boys, please tell me what your experience was like at John O'Boyle Field getting potato soup at the concession stand.
Mitch wanted it.
My boy Nick
I did. Oh, doesn't
was
sound good.
Was supposed to get me a pork chop, and he came back and
I get there. There's no pork chops, which is fine. So I got a brat, and then I'm like, potato soup? Check that off the list. I've never had potato soup at a football game before. It was solid. It did not last very long. It did not. My potato soup lasted longer than any hopes of a playoff team against Wilmington this season. So, but no, in all honesty, the experience was great. It was awesome because there was a line well into after kickoff of people getting in.
There's people not getting in for kickoff at Stockton. It was amazing.
It was cool. It was really cool.
Kyle, you've been to a lot of games in Stockton. For me, I've been to a handful. That's the most people I've seen there. They were so deep all the way around the sidelines. Obviously, not a lot of bleachers there, so there were people just standing all the way around. It was impressive.
Yeah, I remember being in that east end zone one year, about where Bully and Big E were standing. I was standing right behind the goalpost on a bucket tipped upside down so I could see over the people that were standing in front of me. I believe that was 2012 or 13 when they met up in the quarterfinals, because they met up in quarters back-to-back years. Of course, 12 was the year Stockton went to state and lost to Maroa Forsyth. 13 was the year that Lena Winslow went to state and upset Tri-Valley.
So that might have been the same garbage can that we used to prop up the laptop today that you stood on 10 years ago.
Well, it wasn't quite that big the last time, if I remember. I think it was just a 5-gallon Menards bucket, to be honest. But hey, we'll tell tales now. I mean, that was 13 years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I've had a lot of great memories playing at Stockton. I got to play there in '97. We lost to them in like week 2, and ultimately that game was the one that kept us out of the playoffs that year. In '98, we got to play there when they christened the field, John O'Boyle Field, and I'm proud of that one because we won 41-6. Of course, Coach Unruh's team blew us out in the first round of the playoffs that year on his way to a state championship. But hey, what the hell, you know?
Yeah. So, any hot takes from the tag team champions of the world here?
Hey, but first let Bully push the swag we got today.
Special props for the View from the West swag. Of course, a sticker for the door at home. Probably put the other one on my laptop. Koozies, you can never go wrong. They look great. So I'm guessing Breedloves put those together for you. Shout out to Breedloves on the koozies.
And I'm using mine. I already got a sticker on the fridge. But so my hot
I don't
takes
have either one of those two things.
No. So I got a few hot takes here I want to get out before Bully shuts me up.
Okay.
I really want to say that I called the Lee win thing, right? I went in and said, I said wild all day. The kid, and I even reached out to a few kids from the Rockridge area and said, this guy's for real. He reminds me of a Michael O'Brien from the Alito years. I don't know how much of us remember that. But
I've heard the legend of Mikey O'Brien. I don't forget that
So,
name.
very similar running styles.
The kid had his hands on his hips. They say, feed him again. He does it. The kid absolutely was as advertised. I absolutely think he deserves. I know they weren't giving out, the radio station wasn't giving out multiple players of the game, but you guys need to get out one to that kid.
He was amazing.
The line for Lee win, amazing. Stockton's tackling in the open field. I mean, class. That's good class. Now Wilmington. Oh, what? I don't know another team. Is it true they only have 2 seniors on their starting lineups?
Jeez. Hang on a second. I don't know if that's true or not.
I thought I heard that on the pregame on the way up today, and I kind of like my jaw dropped.
Exactly.
Like, that's today. I was today years old when I learned that about Wilmington.
I think they got a few more than that.
I think that might be EPG you're thinking of.
Yeah, but
EPG is young.
EPG has one. Yeah, EPG has one senior on each side of the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. That being said, then EPG early in that game against Wilmington, we were watching. I mean, obviously not as close as you. We were watching. I was like, well, hey, they might put up a fight. But obviously, we've seen Wilmington. Their quarterback's one of the fastest kids I see on the field all year. I'm gonna give you a hot take. Wilmington's just gonna take it. Maroa, hey, good for them. They made it up there. That's great. The other hot take I'm gonna give you is Lee win is gonna give them 30. I think it's gonna be a 30 or a 30 34-6. I think that's gonna be Brown County. We have people. I have buddies that have kids in Brown County. More power to them. It's awesome what they did today. But I'm sorry, you ran to the north.
Shout out to Brown County is assistant coach Heath Fullerton is a 93 Alito grad and was on the 92 semifinal team who lost to Richmond Burton back in 92. I was at that game. I would have been 12 years old. Regardless, he's an assistant coach for Brown County and an educator in their school district. And his boy, I believe it's Trey Fullerton, all-state
24.
running back and linebacker. So
24.
I'm pumped for him. He was an assistant coach when I was in high school, like a grad assistant for the Alito Green Dragons back in the day. So I am ecstatic for him and his family to be able to experience this in 1A. It's just, hey, they're running up against Lena Winslow. I just can't wait, man. I know like a lot's got to happen before next Friday. I mean, we're all going to gain like an average of 8 pounds each. Some of us more than others. Man, I can't wait for Friday 10 a.m. to get here.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a hot take. 1A through 3A, all clocks. Book
Tevin jumping off the top rope on that one.
Wait. I'm gonna give you the one shell shock that I told Bully earlier. I think Maroa scores early, and it resembles a game in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I think Maroa scores early, and it's 7-7, 7-14, 7-0, one of the three. But it's going to end up being a clock game.
Yeah.
Toronto doesn't even – they can't Considine it. I mean, let's be real. Considine all day.
He's special. He's special. There is a possibility. You know, at least we're not arguing on here right now about public versus private.
No.
We're arguing if the game's going to be clock or not. You know what I mean?
Hey, to be honest, I really, as a Rockridge guy, really wanted to go, oh, Wilmington's in our bracket. They're a private school. Well, they're not. They're just a regular school. And
that's really good at football.
And they're really good
in public school. It's really good at football.
So the dice roll our way every year. Enjoy it while we can.
Yeah. Well, I do want to give a quick shout here to, our coverage coming up. We had the Game Day Live preview this morning, live from John O'Boyle Field in Stockton to preview all of the, action from today. That was awesome. We will do a very similar show at what time you think, Kyle, before the 1A game kicks off at 10 a.m.?
Well, we get in the press box at 8. At some point, I want to be on the field. I know Mitch wants to get the all-state stuff live somehow, or at least in a recording so we can get it posted. So we have video.
Hey,
of
can you
that.
some help?
Isn't that after the game though?
No, they do it before.
They'll do 1A before the 1A game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
They'll do 8-man first, and then they'll do 1A, and they're both done before the game.
So what time you think we'll go live then for our game day preview?
Let's say 8:45.
Okay, perfect. So we will have that game day live preview of the Friday state championships there from Normal Friday morning. I will be there along with Kyle Kampmeyer, Matt Surdich, Mitch Stormer will be back in the great state of Illinois, out of the command center, but live on the field in real time. It's going to be awesome. For the first time joining the crew, Zach Shimdog, you're going to be there. You're going to be providing the shim lights, as they've now started to be called. So you'll be keeping us updated with the shim lights on our X feed. I'll get the game highlights that we'll post later that day. So that will be a great weekend of coverage. But before we even get there, we'll have a lot to pack into the week. So coaching conversations like we talked about, we'll get every coach, 1A through 3A. Those should be coming out Monday night. Then we'll have our regularly scheduled episode, our View from the West state preview episode, talking a lot about Lena Winslow, talking a lot about Byron. That will come out in its usual slot Tuesday morning. The UniView State Championship preview, where we look through every matchup solely based on uniforms and make our picks. That episode, Mitch, do you want to say Tuesday, maybe like Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, or Wednesday morning? One of the two. We'll figure that out.
I mean, whatever. Yeah, whatever works best.
It'll come out at some point around that time, so look for that as well. So, all right. Well, hey, we have Matt now here, so let's talk some big schools. And I look back, the funniest part of last week was when Mitch said, "Hey, do you think Fremd has a shot against Mount Carmel?" And you said, "Next question."
Next question. Well, they did though. Frem did score 21, but it was mostly in garbage time. So I mean, yeah it was 42-6 at one point. But that, case in point there, right?
Yeah. So Mount Carmel's going into a state championship game against Oswego. Did I hear? Is this Oswego's first state championship game?
I off the top of my head, I actually don't know that for sure.
Oh, that's fine. I thought I'd read that somewhere. I could be wrong, but either way, it does seem kind of like a David and Goliath type matchup here. That Mount Carmel's probably going to go in as the heavy favorite.
Absolutely, 100%. And with that talent, especially with that defensive line, 100%, and those big receivers as well, with Burrell and with Thornton. Yeah, and also. The Samuels out of the backfield. He's your prototype all-purpose back out of the backfield for Mount Carmel.
Yeah, and so what else? You're looking at in 7A. That St. Rita Brother Rice game is interesting because they're Catholic League rivals there meeting up in a state title game. Hey, shout out to the 1 through 32 seeding.
Yeah, right. All the public school people better turn your TVs off right now. I'll turn off all your laptops now.
Yeah,
don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't do it. This is still great stuff. So come on.
Yeah.
Let's
Well, what do you think about that matchup? What do you know about St. Rita and Brother Rice?
Well, they're Brother Rice. They're it was talked about with I don't remember if it was Edgy Tim or if it was Steve Susie that said it, that Brother Rice's defense was, equal to Mount Carmel's. Their front four is monstrous. It's so much talent there, and they were just one of two teams to stay with Mount Carmel when they played during the season. St. Rita, they're gonna run it down your throats. That's basically what they did against Batavia. Steve Armbruster is a terrific quarterback, though. You got a pretty good quarterback matchup with him and with C.J. Gray of Brother Rice.
Yeah. I know everyone's going to be shocked. Going back to 8A real quick, I did not know what I was talking about. And Oswego's been there at least twice, and they won a state title. They won 2. So thanks, Kyle, for correcting us on that. But, anyway.
Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, I couldn't.
We move along here. We'll move down the bracket here to 6A. I think maybe the surprise in the bigger classes came with Fenwick getting the win over Naz, the top number 1 seed there.
Who was surprised? I had this as my title game.
Okay, all right.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, what do you?
Let me go back here real quick. I just want to double check to be sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I had this as my game. Yeah, I had it as my game.
So you're saying you had Fenwick in there against East St. Louis?
Yes.
That's your prediction. So what do you like about Fenwick? What'd you see in them? What'd you believe? And they made it. They made you. They proved you right.
Well, I believed in them because of how they fared, not how they fared, but how they did against Mount Carmel, compared to Naz. That's kind of how I looked at it. I haven't actually seen them in person this year. I do know that the Thies brothers are terrific players, and they've got a good quarterback of their own, John Williams.
Yeah. No, I think Nazareth Academy is one of those. It's one of those big name programs that is there, in that state title, picture. And so it caught me off guard. Obviously a great game, came down to the wire, 28-27. Fenwick gets the win. East St. Louis rolls in. Are they a heavy favorite against Fenwick?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're a heavy favorite. I think Fenwick can make it a game. They are the favorite, though. I believe. Just there's so much speed on that team, and they've played a national schedule. So they played the likes of Bishop Gorman. They played against IMG Academy the final game of the year, and I forget who their first matchup was. It was a team in New Jersey.
Bergen Catholic.
Bergen.
Yeah, Bergen Catholic. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, and we touched on a little bit of 5A earlier, but it's Providence Catholic 31-21 over Oak Forest. They will meet up with Wheaton St. Francis, who gets the win 35-13. Anything that stands out to you there?
Well, I was at Providence earlier this afternoon.
Okay.
I'll get back to them in just a second. St. Francis, I saw week 1. They've got a lot of good receivers. They're gonna spread them out. They're gonna spread them out 4 wide for the most part. Brock Phillips, the quarterback, is a good solid quarterback. He replaces Brady Palmer, who transferred to a prep school before the season started. Brock Phillips is a transfer, I think, from Geneva. He's done a great job this year, though, with all those receivers. Providence, they get the win against Oak Forest. I thought Oak Forest played pretty well. It's just that their misfortune is that they ran into a very talented Providence team. My concern with Providence, and it was somewhat of a concern back in week 1 with St. Francis, but that was week 1. My concern with Providence was the same concern I had actually with IC Catholic. They committed a lot of penalties. If they can clean that up, I think they can beat St. Francis. If they commit a lot of penalties, St. Francis is gonna take advantage of them.
Yeah.
That's also a rematch from the regular season. They met in week 5.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
And St. Francis, I think, won that one if I remember right.
They did.
Okay.
Great stuff there. Mitch, I know your main concern is, have you been scouting out from afar these uniforms and kind of what we're looking at here?
Yeah, I haven't dove too deep into that just yet. A lot of work to be done on today's games and then this show. So then, yeah, that'll be my work tomorrow, is to get in the whatever images we need left and really digging into the details that the people want. So, but not yet. I haven't got there just yet.
All right. Sounds good. Well, hey, we have one more potential surprise here before the show wraps up, but I got to get him invited in. So, Mitch, I don't know if you want to, carry us for a minute here. Let me get our special guest invited into the room here.
All right. Let's see. All right, real quick, round the room. Of Friday's games, 1 through 4A, I think they're all going to have a heavy favorite. Maybe the Montini and Rochester game will be maybe closer than the others.
Yeah.
Of the 8 teams on Friday, who do you think would have the best shot at an upset?
Ooh, boy. That's a good question.
Rochester.
I would, yeah. Rochester's a good one. I mean, I think next in line would be either Fenwick or St. Rita, just off the top of my head.
Friday, Matt.
So
Friday,
you're
Matt.
getting into Saturday.
Oh, I'm sorry, Friday. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'll throw
Rochester.
this
I would
out.
say Rochester. Yeah.
I'll throw this out. On the opening drive today in the Byron game, Richmond Burton took to the air, connected on all 3 on 3rd down. Off the top of my head, I don't think Byron has played a passing team. Maybe outside. No. I don't think they've played a pass-heavy team like Tolono has. So if there is any shot that Byron has maybe some turnovers or their offense just isn't clicking, I'm curious if that Rocket offense can pass on the Tigers defense, but I don't think that's going to happen. I just wonder, seeing Richmond Burton have some success. Again, it was one drive, and that's not their bread and butter anyway, but if you bring a team in like Tolono Unity who does that all the time, I don't know, maybe. Again, I think it's a long shot, but they might have the best shot out of the 4 games.
I think back to last year in the regular, Tolono went toe-to-toe with Althoff, and I think they lost like a 57-55 shootout. If they get in that
That's
same
right.
type of situation Friday, maybe they can hang.
Yeah.
We got Big E flagging us down here.
Okay. You know what I gotta say about it? About all those games right there. I can see the Byron thing. I don't really believe it. I think
I
it's
don't think
universal
it'll happen.
here. I think Rochester and Montini is going to be something to watch.
Of those 4.
Of those 4.
Yeah.
I do want to say Mount Carmel is probably, and I've seen this argument, Mount Carmel is the most talented team ever to come out of Chicago. And that's what I've seen. Now, could they play East St. Louis, hypothetically, because East St. Louis is playing this national schedule? So that would be something we could do in the future. But I really do think Mount Carmel rolls. I think Byron will adjust. Yeah, I see you guys worrying about the pass defense. They're going to adjust. Considine's a dude. He's just going to do it. We all know about Lewin and Wilmington. We shouldn't even watch the game. The game should just be canceled. So,
Wow. Scorched. He just went scorched earth there. Of the question that Mitch asked, I believe that 4A will be the closest of the 3 games, or of the games on Friday. I'm gonna be honest. I don't watch much of Saturday. I just don't. It's not as enthralling for me. I'm sure you guys maybe feel the same. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to Friday very much so. But I think the 4A game will be the closest of those.
Yeah. All right. Well, one more surprise here on the Instant REAX podcast. We got Shook. Shook, are you in a truck?
I'm in the truck right now.
I love it.
So it's deer season. So on my way home, I stopped off in Pike County to visit with some buddies.
Shucking the trip, dude. He knows the guy.
Deer hunting and down there late. So and I had no service, so I didn't late your text until I got jump in.
All right, well, I appreciate the dedication, sir. So we got the stage set here. Lena Winslow headed back to a state title game against Brown County, and you came on the show earlier this season when Camp Point Central got the win over Brown County, and you said that night that Brown County had a lot of hype around them, and it just, it didn't really pan out that night against CPC. What have you seen transpire? What did you see today to push them to that next level?
Two things. Their Week 9 loss to Calhoun, they were down, I believe it was 14-0 at halftime in a game they lost 21-12. And their defensive coordinator, Jared Hoots, kind of went scorched earth on them at halftime. And it changed everything. And the players have told me that the last few weeks, that it hit them hard that, yeah, they're better than what they were playing. And we've seen the physicality since then. We've seen them very opportunistic. The last 3 weeks now, I believe it is now 12 total turnovers they forced in the last 3 weeks. And they had a goal line stand early in the game today where they forced a fumble. They had an interception, and then the huge recovery on the kickoff of an onside kick, which wasn't an onside kick. It just happened to turn out that way. They're just incredible. And it's just one of those teams right now that's on a run where you just go, dude, this is fate that they've made it this far, because every ball is bouncing their way in a critical moment.
Yeah. Well, tell us about the ending. You were there watching it. I mean, a wild finish there for sure.
Crazy. So Brown County's trailing 7-0, 4.5 minutes to go. They score. They go for two. The play they call, it's there. I mean, it's almost going to be a walk into the end zone based on where Calhoun's defense was lined up, and they fumbled the snap. So the 2-point conversion fails. So now they're down a point. It's 7-6. They kick off. The kickoff bounces, and nobody from Calhoun grabs it. And Michael Cassian of Brown County recovers it at, I believe, the 26-yard line. And next thing you know, they're in business. They're in change two again. They pound. All they got to do is get a defensive stop. And Calhoun made it incredibly interesting. Converted a pass play on 4th and 10 to keep the drive alive, and then kind of threw up a Hail Mary on 4th and 10 from the 24-yard line, and it was caught in the back of the end zone. So now with 15 seconds left, all they need is an extra point to tie and force overtime, or a 2-point conversion to win it. They go for the extra point. Kick is missed. Brown County gets called for roughing the kick.
Wow.
So now so now they're a yard and a half closer. They're at the 1.5, and they go for two, and Brown County stonewalls them.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and then you got the onside kick coming. The first attempt before they could get the onside kick off, they get called for illegal procedure. So move it 5 yards back now for Calhoun. And then the onside kick goes out of bounds. Calhoun's out of timeouts. One kneel down, game over. Brown County's headed to the first state championship game in program history.
So that was what I just wanted to ask you that next question. Shuck, these are the kind of teams and the kind of games that we live for. This is why we're doing what we do. How cool was it to be in that atmosphere and talk to those players afterwards?
Incredible. So here's the cool thing for me. Been doing this a lot of years. I've covered state title games. I've covered state championship teams and everything. So the game ends. They go through the handshake line. They're celebrating. They do the team huddle. They're, all the moms rush out onto the field to take pictures. We've all seen this scene before, right? I look up, and here comes a couple of the seniors with a Brown County flag, the green and white checkered flags they carry with them. And they come over and jump over the fence. And next thing I know, the entire senior class of football players are coming. They're skipping other interviews and stuff because they wanted to do Shuck on a Truck. And so it'll be up as soon as when I get home and get it edited. But yeah, I had the entire all the seniors that are playing football at Brown County, even two that were injured with their legs in braces, got up in the bed of the truck because they wanted to celebrate with Shuck on a Truck.
Man, that's so cool. I love it. Like that's a great story, and just excellent all the way around.
Well, and I've got another one, and it'll be my column for tomorrow. Brown County coach Tom Little went to the state championship game last year because one of their players had received all state recognition. So they went over as a group, took him so he could get his all state honor during the game. Like we've seen time and time, and he kept that ticket. Said today he picked it up and could still see the dust around it because it had been sitting in the same spot for a year or for 51 weeks. And it had been his motivation to make sure this team had a chance to get there. And like I told him afterwards, he doesn't have to buy a ticket this year.
Yeah, that is awesome. Tell us about the little family knows a little bit about football, huh?
Just a little.
Pun very intended.
You think about it. Yes, very much so. Tom Little's been the coach of Brown County for 24 years. He's got two sons on the team. The starting quarterback, Vince Little, and the sophomore and running back, Bo Little. And Bo had an interception today and has had huge plays throughout the postseason. But then Tom's brother, Rick, has been the head coach at Quincy High School for the last 19 years and obviously coached the Blue Devils their two most successful seasons in program history. Rick's son, Braden, was the starting quarterback all season at Quincy University. Yeah, so there's a little bit of football knowledge in that family.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. What an atmosphere there. So,
and here's the other thing, a really cool thing, and I'll get to it at some point when I'm writing. So Tom and Rick Little both grew up in Carthage, played for the Carthage Blue Boys under Jim Unruh, coach who won 6 state championships. In 1994, they lost a playoff game at Calhoun, and I believe it was Rick Little's final game as quarterback. In the end zone, the play occurred on I believe it was 2-point conversion. I got to look it up to make sure I'm right on all the details. But they lost in that same end zone where Brown County made the stop today, and Coach Unruh was there, and Coach Unruh said he cried at that moment.
Oh, wow.
And one of the assistant coaches for Brown County was an previous assistant coach at Carthage, a guy named Lyle Klein. And the first thing he said to me afterwards was, "We exorcised some demons today."
Very cool. Mitch, you got anything for Matt Shuckman here? We got Shuck on the pod, Shuck in the truck.
Shuck, I teased it with you last week. I mean, what are your plans for coverage with Muddy River Sports there next Friday?
Well, we'll be there in full force. I believe as of right now, the plan is Chris Dewar and I will both be there. I'm going to make sure I get there nice and early on Friday. I'm going to hang out to start the day. I'm going to hang out outside the stadium and just kind of visit with fans and see what kind of stories I might come up with. And I think there's got to be a way that we do a Shuck on a Truck view from the West combo somehow, some way that day. Don't we? I mean, don't we have to do that?
Yes, we do. Yes. Absolutely. Yes, we can make that happen.
So I think we should do a Shuck on a Truck, or I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Whatever you guys want to do, but the truck will be there. And I'm ready. I'm excited. I can't wait to see how we can collab on this and have some fun with this.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, for you to be there for the Shuck in a Truck. I'm excited to potentially walk the sidelines with Chris Dewar. I mean, that's like, I sent it out on our X feed last week that watching his highlights and the way he weaves together a story in highlights is it's cinema, man. Like, he does such a good job of, like, not just showing you what happened and then hearing sound bites, but really, like, weaving it all together is so impressive. I give him credit because I'll put you highlights together, I'll show you some sound and go from there. But the way he does it is fantastic.
We'll work together. And the fact that he's no longer has any constraints on time because he's no longer on a TV station is really huge for him, because now he can sit together and put together a 6-7 minute highlight package and tell that story where he doesn't have to worry about crunching it into 30 seconds or a minute to get it on TV. And he doesn't have a deadline either. So he can kind of craft things. And I mean, it's been a true blessing to have him working alongside me. And I'm excited to see what we can do for our viewers and our listeners and our readers next weekend, because, you know, as you guys well know, and what you guys do with the pod and else, the occasion to match the moment that these kids are delivering.
Yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, your area is very lucky to have both you guys doing what you're doing. And I think for this Brown County team to make a trip to state, the stories are going to be perfectly told, and it's going to be great.
Well, I'll be honest. I walked out of there today, or drove out of there in the truck, and I had so many story ideas for this next week. With it being Thanksgiving, I know I'm not going to be able to get to all of them.
I know.
But you know, and I apologize if I've cut out a couple times on you guys. The service as you're driving through Adams and Pike County isn't always the best, so I apologize.
No, nope, you're all good. I'm glad we were able to make this connection, even if it was spotty at times. You're awesome. I love talking to you. I love bringing you in, and you know, it's been few and far between this year. We need to change that. So I'm glad this weekend we can change that for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait. It'll be fun to catch up with you guys in person instead of always trying to do it over the pod.
Yeah.
And I think no matter what, it's going to be a very entertaining game. And again, we all know Lena Winslow's the big dog. And you know, all the accolades and everything. But you know, for something tells me Brown County's going to find a way to make it interesting. Not going to say they're going to win, but they're going to find a way to make it interesting, because that's what they've done all postseason.
I don't think you sleep on the Littles coaching. I think that's a big factor in it. So.
And here's the Fullerton. His youngest son, of the three Fullertons that have played for Brown County recently, is the starting fullback and middle linebacker of the All-Stater, Trey Fullerton. So you got two father-sons of seniors, coaches' sons, you know, last time on the field together. You know, it's the story almost writes itself at times, and I'm lucky I was there to be able to write some of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, the story doesn't write itself. Somebody's got to be there to do it, and you do a great job of that, my friend. So, hey, I'll let you go unless you got any other thoughts on kind of results from today. I know you were locked in you know, with Brown County today, but.
Well, the other one that had my interest, and because of a coach I know and have known for a long time, and their team has played against Quincy Notre Dame at times over the years, and you know, Rochester finding another way to win in overtime in 4A. It's like, wow, they Derek Leonard just finds a way to win games. It's amazing how they just find a way in the biggest moments to win games.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yep, absolutely.
So
yeah,
I looking forward to being in Bloomington Normal next weekend, and hey, we're still talking football at the end of November, so life's good.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Well, hey, Shuck, we really appreciate you jumping on, and we will definitely be talking in the next week. So that's gonna be great.
Awesome, guys. Sorry I was a late addition, but I was glad I was able to jump on.
Timed out perfect. We'll take it.
Awesome, man.
All right. Safe travels, my friend.
Will do. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Thanks,
See
Chuck.
ya.
Bye.
So there we go, Mitch. A Shuck on the truck is, it's in the works. That's what we love.
Add one more thing to the busy schedule. We'll fit it in somewhere.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, all right. Well, we've almost hit the 2-hour mark here. Do we have, anything else? Any other talking point? Mitch, anything we missed?
No, I don't think so. And that's a testament to, everyone on the call here, the work that's gone into today leading into the semifinals, and then certainly as a precursor to what we expect to be putting together and presenting to the listeners this week. I think we have a lot in store. There's a lot of episodes. There's a lot of content leading up to Friday. And then, boy, we're still finalizing what Friday is going to look like. But, I said in the pregame show, I think that I will pat ourselves on the back here that I think that we present the best coverage of small school football, and I think we're going to show that on Friday.
Yep, no doubt. I agree. I'm excited for that. It'll be Kyle Kampmeyer. We'll be collaborating with him all Friday long, all weekend long at NUIC football. I'm excited. Kyle, another trip to the state championship games. We love it, man.
Yeah, it's 9 straight, 10 straight, something like that.
Yeah, yep. Well, we'll see.
It's good when you can't remember how many it is.
Yeah.
Well, this is season 10. We've been there every year since I've started this up, so I don't take credit for that, but man, we are on a hell of a run, and it's very special when you get a chance to do this, but you get a chance to cover one of your own teams all the way to the state championship every single year, and I feel the same way that Lena Winslow does right now. Every team's different. Every season's different. You just hope that you have that team that can continue to do it. You keep staying humble with it. Obviously there's people out there that always want to try to put some fire under you. And, I'll be honest, I started this up 10 years ago as a way to talk real football. I wasn't going to sugarcoat anything. I've softened some of the edges up a little bit, obviously, to help expand the growth, but I'm still not going to sugarcoat anything. We'll just find a different way to make it verbalized.
There you go. It's like school. It's like a classroom. Big E has his hand raised, so we'll go to him.
Oh, no. I was just giving a shout out to Kyle. He's one of the ones. All you guys, from Matt, Shim, Mitch, the other Matt, you guys make it this is unbelievable. To going from when we were younger, watching high school football, to now. Kids can watch this, student athletes watch this. Aiden Wild even hearted one of my tweets this week. I mean, let's be real. This is awesome for our kids, our student athletes, and the kids in the community. I mean, you guys are doing an awesome job. We're just happy to be a part of it. We'll definitely be tuning in next weekend.
Awesome.
But thank you guys for having us on, though. Uniform combo is going to be awesome for 1A. Lee Wynn looks tight in their road whites with the black pants, but Brown County with the bright green jersey, the white pants. Oh, it's going to be a great 1A championship uniform pairing, in my opinion.
And Nick has a real affinity for Brown County, so let's be
Coach Fullerton, man. Coach Heath Fullerton is Lido grad, man, and was the grad assistant when I played. So I got, I hope Brown County makes it interesting, and I hope they give him hell, man. Nobody wants to watch a blow. I want a tight game. So hope it happens.
No doubt.
I'll say one last thing. One last thing, we're done. Nick Bull went to Aledo. I went to Rockridge. So I don't ever cheer on Aledo coaches. Lee win by 1 million. Remember that.
There you go. Sertich, you politely had your hand raised. What do you got?
Yeah, quick question for you. Was that the first time that you shot a game with your son?
So he's been coming along with me, but this one was a little different because when Kyle Leach needed help with the live stream, he shot some video alongside of me just to kind of, hang out and practice. But this was the first time he'd been like on a live stream, running a camera, getting the director in his ear, telling him what shots to get. So he was pretty excited. He was pretty pumped. I was proud of him. It was cool.
He looked in his element, man. He did a great job, man. It was a fun day.
He did.
Very personable, man. Well done.
Cool. No, I appreciate hearing that. And it was at different times, like I'd get locked into shooting the game, and I'd kind of forget where he was at. I didn't know what he was doing. He was doing his thing, so it was great. Yeah. So I appreciate that. So. Well, Sertich, you'll be back on the sidelines with us for coverage. Excited for another state championship weekend?
Oh, absolutely, man. Fridays are for the boys.
Yes. There we go. Shim, have you been to the state championship games before?
Yeah, a couple years ago, I made it down there for a few of the games. I think it was 21 or 22.
Okay. All right. Well, now you got the almighty press pass, and you're doing the real heavy lifting on the sideline, getting the Shim lights.
Yep,
so
that's right.
Exciting. Gonna be great stuff. We appreciate it and look forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a great time as always.
Yeah.
Just get the wife's blessing, all right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mitch, anything else before we call it a night? We're just over 2 hours now, so that's about our.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. It's a long day for everybody. So great job, and looking forward to a fun week.
Yep. So as a reminder, we'll have coaches' conversations coming out Monday afternoon, Monday evening. We'll get those rolled out for 1A, 2A, 3A, talking to all of the coaches north and south for those classifications. We'll have a regularly scheduled episode, The View from the West, state championship preview episode. That's really going to dive into Lena Winslow, dive into Byron, the teams that we have competing this weekend. And Kyle, we may lean on your expertise once again for that episode. How's that sound?
I'm available.
That sounds good. And then, of course, we'll have the UniView State Championship uniform preview as well. So is going to be a lot of airtime coming up in the next week, and that's before we even get to normal. So a lot of previewing, a lot of stuff to talk about, but it's great. Matt, now, thanks for jumping in, and, look forward to it. We'll see you. Will you be there Friday?
I'll be there both days. That's kind of where I made my error. My brain was geared up for both days. So
that's right. I know. I think Shim will be covering both games as well. So Shim will be there. Both
yep, I'll be there both days.
That's what I'm talking about.
There you go. All right, boys. Well, hey, I really appreciate everybody jumping on. I appreciate everyone who listens, everyone who follows along. Really cool to be there today in Stockton. Stockton it's a beautiful place to watch a football game, and this semifinal did not disappoint. And so here we go. We're gearing up for the busiest time of the year, no doubt about it, but such a fun week of high school football, and it all caps off with that trip to Normal, Illinois. So, we'll see you there, boys. It's going to be great. Thanks to everyone, and, listen in this week. We'll have great coverage. Talk to you then.
See you, fellas.